Hi everybody, welcome to probably what will be my last sword review video. I really don't have any more swords left to review. I scoured the internet and I pretty much found all the ones in my price range that I was interested in. But this one's a special review, so I saved it for last. It's going to be about the Shrewsbury Sword from Windlass Steelcrafts. And the reason why it's special is because this was my very first European style sword. It was on sale for $175. Usually it's around $200, and I jumped on it, and I really liked it. It kind of began that itch to collect again in swords, which I pretty much scratched that by now. But I really liked it, and there's a lot of neat features about it. The history of this actual sword, not the design of the sword, but the manufacturer's story, is that evidently this sword was designed to be in a movie, a medieval movie, that never came around, and they ended up commissioning Windlass to make a whole bunch of these style swords for the movie that never got made. So they dumped them back onto the market, and for an entry-level European style sword, this is actually fairly nice. I call it a bastard sword or a hand and a half sword, and I'll explain why. I got the specs here since I wrote them down again. The overall size is 42 1/8 of an inch. The blade is 33 3/8 inches. The hilt is 8 inches. And the weight is 2 pounds 12 ounces, so it's fairly light. It's tempered. It's got some tempering to it, so it does flex, just like all the other swords. I would say the blade is either a type 15 or a type 18 oak shot. I would lean more towards a type 15 style blade because it does taper to a very, very sharp point, and not much of a hollow ground, just a flattened diamond cross section, which again is my favorite type of cross section for a blade. The reason why I call it a hand and a half sword or a bastard sword is because you can kind of put your second hand down here. Technically, it's not listed as a hand and a half sword or a two-handed sword. It's listed as a one-handed sword on their website, but it's, as you can see, it's fairly large. So this one being my first sword, European style, I actually decided to get it personalized. I know a guy that does laser engraving on wood and metal and some other things, and I got in touch with him. I asked him if he could do a sword, and he said yeah. So I went ahead and had him etch on a Bible verse, Ephesians 6:17, which off the top of my head I believe says something about the Bible being the sword of the Spirit. Arm yourself with the armor of God. I do consider myself a Christian. I like to go to church. I also got WH for William Heaning etched onto the blade too. So the quillions come with a neat little cross up there, and they match fairly well on the internet. I kept looking, and a lot of times the crosses looked kind of stamped weird, but this one actually came out looking alright. This is the only European style sword I have that has a nut and a thread pommel, so the tang extends all the way through the handle and extends out and turns into like a nut, and then you can just screw this over there. I prefer things to be peened where they hammer it back down so it's fully in there, nice and tight. But the neat thing about having a nut is that you can unscrew it to either clean it or re-hilt it. I've seen some pictures on this online where people have taken the handle off and then re-hilted it. The reason being is because I found out when they made these swords, again, they were made for a movie production. So instead of hardwood underneath this leather wrap, there's actual plastic. I don't mind at all. I think it's fine. Um, Funny story. When I got this, I went a little crazy wanting to cut stuff with it. So I remember buying a bunch of watermelons and melons and stuff, and I took it out and I did Fruit Ninja on them. And when I got home, I noticed there was a lot of gunk on the blade, like residue from the fruit. And I panicked. So I went and got, this is before I had my Flitz and Metal Glow and Mother's Mag and oil and stuff. So I got soap and water and a dish scrubber that has the soft and the hard side on the back. And I scrubbed it with the soft side first, and it wasn't coming off, so I was like, ah! So I flipped the scrubber around, and I used the abrasive end. Wasn't thinking, and I just, and when I wiped it all off, I noticed that I had thousands and thousands of tiny little scratches going all through the blade. You can't see it, I can, and it drove me nuts. It marred the beauty of the blade, and you can't see them, but they're there. And that's what kickstarted my desire to get a new sword, was to get one that was unmarred. That led to another sword, which led to another sword, which led to another sword, which led to another sword, and now, I have to put the kibosh. But, yeah, I really, really like this guy. He is sharp. I got the sharpening service. Can still cut paper. It's just really pretty. The design of a 15th type style blade back in the day they were popular in the 15th century when full plate armor was the norm. Because when you were fighting a knight that was in full plate and that's really not gonna cut it. No pun intended. So swords got that diamond cross section and they became highly tapered towards the end, which was designed to puncture armor, to stick in and to find chinks, usually in the armpits, the groin area, the neck area, the visor. So if you could get a point, shove it in, that's really all you had to do. But yeah, this guy is going to have a special place in my heart, always. He is my dedicated cutter. Since I kind of marred the blade already with those little tiny little scratches, I decided, to heck with it. I'm just gonna go out and use this guy as my main cutter if I'm out doing things and just want to play hack and slash for a little bit. Definitely not going to be a looker since, I kind of ruined it. But only I probably noticed that, and only I care. But yeah, this was my very, very first European style sword. Very affordable. Very nice. For it being plastic for a handle, the blade is 1065 carbon steel. It's quality. It's got great tempering. Honestly, even though it's a nut pommel, there's no looseness whatsoever in any of the fittings. And I'll do the classic Billy douche sword review close-up. So there is, the tang comes out as a nut, and it's got, threading on it, and then they took the bolt and they put it outside the thread, and that's what holds it in. It is they described it as a fruit-shaped pommel, apricot-shaped, which I don't know what that even means. I've never eaten an apricot that looked like this. I consider it more of a scent stopper pommel, like the Italian longsword that I had. The blade slot itself isn't that bad. Right here. Windlass can be known for having quite large gaps in between their blades, which is fine. I don't really care because it's a nice little guy. It's very, very light. So if you wanted to go out and practice, I'm not going to swing this around really a lot down here, but it's light and it's got a good two-handed grip, so you can get some force behind it. Maybe practice stabbing a little bit. But yeah, I'll probably do one more mini review about my short swords. There's a lot of videos on those out there, so there's really no need for me to make a video on the on Laconia or the Gladius machete. But I'll do a quick little just like, hey, these is what they look like video for people like me. So anyway, and I'll close this out with the scabbard is actually kind of nice too. It tapers, fits the blade. Leather core, steel chape with a nice little cross on the end there, and the part up here, the throat's got like a little dip, which is different than a lot of other windlass scabbards. But yeah, this is it, guys. Unless I save up and get like a $500 sword, you probably won't see any more reviews. And I probably will never own a $500 sword because that's ridiculous. I couldn't explain that away. $200 is my limit. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to all of you later. Have a good day. Bye.